Stop everything you're doing right now. The world you see is a lie. Everything you believe is solid, permanent, and real is just the first of 7 stages of consciousness. And you've been trapped in the lower stages. The system doesn't want you to peel back these layers. Why? Because only one stage gives you true power. The other 6 are carefully designed traps that feel like progress. They look like awakening, they feel like enlightenment, but they keep you searching and striving, never arriving. Right now, you're stuck at stage 4 or stage 5. Just powerful enough to believe you're making progress, but completely unable to actually break free. For thousands of years, secret societies kept the key to stage 7 locked away. They knew the truth. Stage 7, God mode, makes you completely ungovernable, impossible to control, immune to manipulation. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which stage you're at. And I'm going to give you 3 specific, non-negotiable shifts you can apply tonight that will instantly move you towards stage 7. This is not philosophy. This is a complete roadmap from the simulation to absolute reality mastery. Let's begin. Stage 1. The physical prison. Stage 1 is called the physical prison. And this is where over 95% of humanity lives their entire lives, not because they're being controlled, but because they simply don't know there's anything else. They never suspect that reality is far more magnificent than what their 5 senses show them. But you're different. You're here because something inside you already knows you're capable of more. You're at stage 1 if you believe you're just a physical body in a material world. If your entire life revolves around survival, money, food, shelter, comfort. If you think death is the final end. If you've never questioned that there might be layers of reality beyond what you can see and touch. The trap of stage 1 isn't that you're being controlled. It's that you're missing out on the most profound aspects of existence. And if you're watching this video, you're already leaving stage 1. Something cracked open. What you're missing at stage 1. At stage 1, you can't feel energy. You walk through life surrounded by an invisible ocean of frequency, vibration, and connection. But you're numb to it, like being deaf in a world full of music. The symphony is playing all around you, but you can't hear it. You can't sense the field of consciousness connecting all living things. You experience yourself as separate, alone in your own head. You don't know that every thought ripples outward, affecting the field every emotion broadcasts, like a signal others unconsciously pick up. You can't see the patterns, the sacred geometry in nature, the Fibonacci sequence spiraling through galaxies and your own DNA. You see these as interesting facts, not as proof of an intelligent universe organizing itself. You can't access the deeper knowing beyond logic. That intuition warning you before something happens. That sudden insight solving a problem you've struggled with. At stage 1, you dismiss these as coincidence, not recognizing them as your consciousness accessing information beyond the physical. And most painfully, you can't experience the profound beauty of your own nature. You think you're a temporary accident. You don't know that you're an eternal expression of infinite consciousness, temporarily wearing a human form. Why stage 1 persists? There is a system that benefits from keeping people here. Not some shadowy conspiracy, but a structure of society, education, and culture that naturally reinforces physical-only consciousness. From birth, you're taught to focus exclusively on the physical. School trains you to memorize, sit still, follow instructions, prepare for a job. The entire system is built around survival. Paying bills, buying food, maintaining shelter, consuming products. The system keeps you just busy enough, just stressed enough, just distracted enough that you never have time to question beyond it. You're always in survival mode, always focused on the next paycheck, the next responsibility. But here's what's important. This system doesn't have power because it's forcing you to stay. It has power because it's the only reality most people ever see. It's not a prison with bars. It's a prison with walls you don't know exist. The moment you start questioning, the moment you recognize there's more, the prison walls become transparent. You can walk right through them because they were never really solid. They were just the boundaries of your perception, the true nature of physical reality. The physical plane itself isn't the problem. Physical reality is actually extraordinary. It's not a prison, it's a training ground, where consciousness learns to create in the densest, slowest moving form of reality. If you can learn to create in physical reality, where manifestation takes time, where actions have consequences, where you can't just think something and have it appear, then you've mastered creation at the hardest difficulty level. And your body? It's not a cage. It's an incredible vehicle, consciousness condensed into form. Billions of cells working together, performing trillions of operations per second. Your body takes light from the sun, air from the atmosphere, minerals from the earth, and transforms it into the experience of being alive. The atoms making up your body are billions of years old. They've been stars, planets, oceans, mountains, countless life forms. Now they're temporarily arranged as you. You're not separate from the universe. You're the universe experiencing itself from this particular perspective. Reality becomes more. As you move beyond stage 1, reality becomes more, not less. You don't leave behind the physical world, you add layers to your perception. At stage 2, you start seeing patterns, synchronicities, hidden design. The world becomes more meaningful, interconnected, alive. At stage 3, you discover your thoughts have power, you're actively shaping reality. At stage 4, you feel energy directly. You sense people's emotions before they speak. You develop abilities that seemed impossible from stage 1. At stage 5, you connect to something vast, a field of intelligence beyond individual consciousness. At stage 6, you recognize your true nature. You're the universe experiencing itself. And at stage 7, God mode, you integrate all of it, fully cosmic and fully human. The shift point. The moment you start questioning stage 1, you're already leaving it. You've probably already had glimpses, moments where time stopped and you felt completely present, alive, where you felt connected to everything around you, where you knew something before it happened, where you felt energy moving through your body. Those aren't anomalies, they're glimpses beyond stage 1. Your consciousness showing you what's possible. The practice. Here's something you can do tonight. The presence practice. Take 5 minutes before sleep to be completely present in your body. Not thinking about the past, not planning the future, just here, now. Feel your breath moving in and out. Life, force, flowing automatically, keeping you alive. Feel your heartbeat, this muscle beating since before you were born, never stopping, and you never had to learn how. Feel the aliveness in your hands, feet, skin. That's energy, the electromagnetic field of your body radiating outward. Do this for 5 minutes. Just feel what it's like to be alive, embodied here. And notice, who is feeling this? Who is aware you're breathing alive? That awareness. That's not stage 1. That's you waking up to what you are beyond the body. That's the doorway. And once you step through, everything changes. Because stage 2 is where you start seeing the patterns, where reality reveals its hidden design, where you discover that nothing, absolutely nothing, is random. Stage 2, the duality awakening. This is where you begin to see the hidden architecture of reality. The patterns, the opposites, the polarities, the dance of forces that creates everything you experience. This is where most people feel like they've woken up for the first time, and in many ways they have. But stage 2 is also the first major spiritual trap, because once you see duality, it's incredibly easy to get stuck in dualistic thinking, spending years categorizing, analyzing, studying the patterns without ever moving beyond them. And most people never do. You're at stage 2 if you're noticing patterns everywhere, in nature, in people, in events, in your own life. if you're drawn to symbols, sacred geometry, hidden meanings, if you start seeing coincidences that feel too perfect to be random, if you understand that light only exists because of darkness, that joy only has meaning because you've known sorrow, if you're fascinated by concepts like yin and yang, masculine and feminine, order and chaos. Stage 2. Consciousness is seeing the blueprint beneath the surface. It's recognizing that nothing in this reality is random. Everything is organized. Everything follows patterns. Everything exists in relationship to its opposite. And once you see this, you can never unsee it. The world transforms from a collection of separate, random events into an intricate web of relationships, meanings, and design. But here's what you need to understand. Seeing the pattern is just the beginning. The real question is, what created these patterns, and why do they exist at all? Let me show you. The birth of duality. To understand why duality exists, we have to go back to the very beginning, before this physical reality, before time, before space, before anything you could name or point to. There was unity, pure, undifferentiated consciousness, the source, God, the void, the infinite. Whatever name you give it doesn't matter. Words fail at this level. It was whole, complete, undivided. One. But here's the fascinating problem with unity. It cannot experience itself. Think about this carefully. If there's nothing outside of you, nothing different from you, nothing separate from you, how do you know you exist? You don't. You simply are, without any awareness of being. It's like trying to see your own eyes without a mirror. You can't observe yourself if there's nothing to observe yourself against. For consciousness to experience itself, to know itself, to understand what it is, it had to create contrast. Not to split into separate pieces, not to fragment into broken parts, but to express itself as opposites. This is the birth of duality. Imagine a single point of infinite light, whole, perfect, complete. But in that wholeness, there's no movement, no experience, no contrast, no growth. It just is. Now imagine that light choosing to polarize, one half expressing as positive, one half as negative, one half as active, one half as receptive, one half as expansion, one half as contraction. Suddenly something extraordinary happens. There's tension between the poles, there's attraction, there's dynamic movement. That tension, that dance between opposites, that's what creates experience. That's what creates reality itself. That's what creates you, experiencing this moment right now. Light means nothing without darkness to contrast it. How would you know what light is if you'd never experienced darkness? Joy has no meaning if you've never felt sorrow. How would you recognize happiness if sadness didn't exist? You can't understand strength if you've never experienced weakness. Up has no meaning without down, hot without cold, self without other. Duality is the cosmic mechanism that allows consciousness to know itself through contrast, and it's woven into absolutely everything you experience. Now here's where this gets profound, and this is what most people at stage 2 miss. If duality is the mechanism consciousness used to experience itself, then duality isn't random or arbitrary. It should follow a specific pattern, a mathematical precision, an intelligent design. And it does. Let me show you. What I'm about to show you will change how you see everything around you. Because duality isn't just a spiritual concept or a philosophical idea. It's encoded into the mathematics of reality itself. Look at nature. Really look. Stop and observe the world around you. Everywhere you turn, you'll see a specific pattern appearing over and over and over again. The Fibonacci sequence. It's a mathematical series where each number is the sum of the two before it, and it continues infinitely. This sequence creates what's called the golden ratio, approximately 1.618 to 1. And this ratio appears in nature with a frequency that should shatter any remaining belief in randomness or accident. The spiral of a shell follows the golden ratio perfectly. The arrangement of seeds in a sunflower, always a Fibonacci number. The branching patterns of trees, Fibonacci. The breeding patterns of rabbits, Fibonacci. Even the curves of hurricanes seen from space form golden ratio spirals, and it's not a coincidence. This is the universe expressing order through the dance of duality, the interplay between one and one, between unity and its reflection, creating everything in between. But here's where it becomes personal. Here's where you realize you're not separate from this pattern. You are this pattern. The structure of your body follows the golden ratio. The ratio of your forearm to your hand. Golden ratio. The segments of your fingers from base to tip, each one follows Fibonacci proportions. The chambers of your heart. Golden ratio. The branching of your lungs. Fibonacci sequence. Even the double helix of your DNA, the molecular code that makes you you, measures 34 angstroms long by 21 angstroms wide. Both Fibonacci numbers. Why? Because you're not separate from the universe. You are the universe expressing itself in human form. You're a fractal, a small piece that contains the pattern of the whole. Every cell in your body carries the complete blueprint of who you are. Every atom in your body has existed since the beginning of time, transformed through countless forms, now temporarily arranged as you. This is stage 2 consciousness. Recognizing that there's an intelligent design beneath everything. Seeing the mathematical precision. Understanding that nothing, absolutely nothing, is random or accidental, but understanding the mathematics is only the intellectual level. To truly grasp stage 2, you need to see how duality operates in your actual lived experience. Because the same principle that creates spiral galaxies is creating your emotions, your relationships, your challenges right now. Let me show you how. The dance of opposites in your life. Duality isn't just beautiful patterns in nature or elegant mathematics in your body. It's the operating system of physical reality itself. And it's running in your life, in every moment, whether you're aware of it or not. Take hot and cold. They feel completely different, like opposing sensations. But here's the truth. They're not separate things. They're the same thing. Molecular movement. Heat is molecules moving fast. Cold is molecules moving slow. There's no hard line where hot becomes cold. It's a spectrum, a continuum. One thing expressing as apparent opposites. And this same principle applies to everything you experience, male and female. Modern society treats these as fixed, separate categories. But ancient wisdom knew better. Both energies exist within every person. The masculine principle, active, penetrating, expansive, analytical, driving forward. The feminine principle, receptive, containing, intuitive, cyclical, drawing inward. True wholeness doesn't come from being more masculine or more feminine. It comes from integrating both. When you honor both the drive to act and the wisdom to receive, when you balance the ability to think with the capacity to feel, that's when you become complete. That's when you access both poles of your power. Life and death. We think of them as opposites, as endings and beginnings, as the ultimate duality. But look deeper. Death is just life-transforming form. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only changed. The atoms that make up your body right now, they're billions of years old. They've been stars, exploding supernovas, scattering matter across space. They've been oceans, mountains, countless plants and animals. They've been other humans who lived and died long before you were born. You're a temporary arrangement of ancient cosmic material. When you die, that arrangement dissolves, and those atoms continue their journey into new forms. Life doesn't end, it transforms. The dance continues, order and chaos. In your life right now, you probably crave order, stability, predictability, control. You resist chaos, disruption, uncertainty. That's natural at stage 1 or 2 consciousness. But here's the truth that becomes clear as you deepen into stage 2. Order without chaos is stagnation. It's death. Think about the times in your life when you grew the most. They came from disruption, not stability. Your breakthroughs came from chaos, not order. The moments that transformed you were the ones that shattered your comfort zone. Chaos is what brings innovation, evolution, transformation. You need both, the structure to contain and the chaos to evolve, the form to give shape and the formlessness to allow change. Light and darkness. This might be the most misunderstood duality in all of spirituality. We've been taught to seek the light, to transcend the darkness, to become beings of light, to eliminate our shadow. But darkness is not evil. Darkness is potential. It's the void from which everything emerges. It's the womb. It's the space where transformation happens. Seeds germinate in darkness. Babies develop in darkness. Your deepest insights, your most profound transformations, they come from the dark night of the soul, not from spiritual highs. The secret of stage 2 that most people miss. The opposites are not in conflict. They're in cooperation. They're two faces of one thing. They need each other. They define each other. They create meaning through their relationship. And once you truly understand this, not just intellectually, but experientially, you stop trying to choose one pole over the other. You stop trying to be only positive, or purely spiritual, or always light. You recognize that wholeness requires both. But here's where most people get stuck. And this is the trap I need to warn you about. The stage 2 trap. If stage 2 gives you this profound understanding of how reality works, why do so many spiritual seekers get stuck here? Because seeing duality and transcending duality are two completely different things. Once you see the patterns, once you understand the opposites, it's incredibly easy to fall into dualistic thinking. You start categorizing everything. This is good, that's bad. This is spiritual, that's material. This is light, that's dark. This person is evolved, that person is asleep. I'm on the right path, they're on the wrong path. You might start judging yourself harshly. I need to be more positive. I need to eliminate negative thoughts. I need to choose love over fear every time. I need to transcend my ego. I need to be more spiritual and less material. But that's still stage 2 consciousness. You're trapped in the either-or. You're trying to choose one pole while rejecting the other. And that's impossible, because rejecting one half of duality is rejecting half of reality. It's rejecting half of yourself. I see this constantly in spiritual communities. People who've awakened to stage 2, who understand duality intellectually, who can explain yin and yang and sacred geometry beautifully, but who spend years, sometimes decades, trying to be only light, trying to eliminate their shadow, trying to transcend the material world while still needing to pay rent, trying to be more spiritual than everyone else while secretly judging those who aren't. That's not transcendence, that's spiritual ego. That's stage 2 consciousness thinking it's reached the end when it's just beginning. The real trap is this. Stage 2 gives you so much insight, so much understanding, that it feels like enlightenment. You see patterns others don't see. You understand connections others don't understand. You recognize the sacred geometry, the synchronicities, the hidden meanings. And that knowledge can become intoxicating. You can spend years studying it, analyzing it, accumulating more and more understanding about duality without ever moving beyond it. But knowledge about duality is not the same as transcending duality. Understanding the pattern intellectually is not the same as embodying the integration of opposites. So how do you move beyond stage 2? How do you avoid this trap? The way through. The way beyond stage 2 isn't to eliminate duality. That's impossible. Duality is the structure of physical reality. As long as you're in a body experiencing life, you're operating within duality. The way through is integration. It's recognizing that you need both poles. It's honoring both light and shadow. It's embracing both the spiritual and the material. It's understanding that you're not here to choose one half of reality. You're here to master both. And that requires something most spiritual teachings skip over entirely. Something that moves you from understanding to application, from knowledge to power. It requires mental sovereignty, the ability to consciously direct your thoughts, your focus, your mental energy. Not just to understand that thoughts create reality, but to actually use that understanding to shape your experience moment by moment. If you're stuck in understanding without transformation, if you have more knowledge than results, if you can explain how reality works but can't consistently create what you want, you're at stage 3. And most spiritual seekers spend decades here, accumulating more and more knowledge, trying to think their way to transformation, wondering why nothing changes despite everything they know. Let me show you why that happens and what actually works. Stage 3. Mental sovereignty. Stage 3 is mental sovereignty. The moment you realize your thoughts have real, measurable power. Not as a metaphor, but as a broadcast. Your mind is a transmitter. Reality mirrors your dominant signal back. At first, this feels like you've found the master key. But here's where most people stall. They know the ideas. They can explain manifestation and neuroplasticity, yet their life looks the same. That's the trap of stage 3. Knowledge without mastery. Think of the mental plane as the layer where thoughts exist as energy before they harden into matter. Every thought carries a frequency. Your brain is the radio station, your emotions are the amplifier. If your baseline says, "Nothing works out for me," the mirror can only reflect that broadcast. Change the frequency, change the reflection. You've already tasted this. You think of someone, and they reach out. You feel a gut warning and ignore it, then pay for it. You focus on money with genuine relief, and something unexpected lands. Those aren't accidents. They're flashes of stage 3 power. But flashes aren't mastery. The gap is simple. 2 minds, 1 conflict. The conscious mind sets goals and repeats affirmations, but it runs only a tiny fraction of your day. The subconscious runs the rest. It learned your beliefs early, before you had filters, absorbing your parents' stress, the household tone, the rules about love, safety, and success. As an adult, you try to manifest abundance while the background program still hums scarcity. The supercomputer wins. That's why willpower and pretty words fade. You're trying to overwrite deep code from the surface. Real sovereignty starts when you notice the automatic stream in real time, the random judgments, the worry loops, the old narratives that appear without your permission. The 5 minutes of visualization aren't the issue. The 16 hours of unguarded broadcast are. Try this right now. Sit in silence and hold no thought for 60 seconds. Watch how quickly images, planning, and memories crash the party. That's the engine actually creating your life. Sovereignty is seeing those thoughts as programs and choosing a different instruction the moment they arise. Not suppressing, redirecting. To reprogram the subconscious, you need the levers it obeys. Relaxation, because a calm nervous system opens the gate. Emotion, because feeling is the language it understands. Embodiment, because the body is the storage. Energy, because it's the bridge into stage 4. Thoughts alone don't move reality reliably. Thought with feeling in a regulated body, carried on a coherent field, that's creation. Test yourself. Choose 1 hour tomorrow and guard your mind. The instant a limiting thought surfaces, flip it and feel the new sentence land in your body. Keep the channel locked for 60 minutes straight. Most people can't last 5. That's not failure. That's your data. If you can't steer for 1 conscious hour, the autopilot is steering the rest of your day. This is where seekers plateau. They collect concepts, trade techniques, binge new teachers, and wait for the missing secret. The missing piece isn't more information, it's integration. Moving the idea from your head into your nervous system and field, so your baseline signal changes. When you do, results stop wobbling. Synchronicities cluster. The delay between intention and reflection shrinks. You feel less like you're forcing outcomes and more like you're tuning them. That's the threshold. On the other side is stage 4, energy mastery, where you stop talking about energy and start directing it. That's where the signal becomes unmistakable, and reality starts answering in real time. Stage 4, energy mastery. Stage 4 is called energy mastery. This is where everything you've learned stops being theory and becomes real. You stop thinking about energy and start feeling it. You stop believing you're powerful and start knowing it. At this stage, the invisible becomes obvious. You can feel energy moving through your body and in the space around you. You sense people's emotions before they speak. You walk into a room and instantly feel if the vibe is off. You've influenced outcomes with pure focus, shifted moods, made someone think of you, manifested something by pure intention. Stage 4 is electric. It's intoxicating. Because now you don't just understand energy, you radiate it. You can walk into a room and the whole atmosphere changes. You can focus on someone across the room and they turn their head. You can send calm through your presence, or tension if you're careless. You can literally feel power in your hands, your eyes, your voice. But here's the catch. You're still learning to control it. You're broadcasting constantly, even when you don't mean to. That's what makes this stage both incredible and dangerous. Let's break down what's actually happening. The energetic body. You don't just have one body, you're a system of overlapping energy fields, physical, etheric, emotional, and mental, all working together. The etheric body sits closest to the skin. It's the energetic blueprint that keeps your physical body alive. Every illness shows up here before it ever becomes physical. That's why energy healers can sometimes sense or shift something before a doctor ever sees a symptom. Your emotional or astral body extends beyond that. It's where you feel emotions, yours and everyone else's. When someone walks into a room and you instantly feel drained or uplifted, that's their astral field interacting with yours. Then there's the mental body, the realm of thought forms and focus. When you can't stop thinking about someone and they suddenly message you, it's not random, it's mental energy connecting across distance. In stage 4, you start feeling these layers directly. You know when your field is clear or dense, expanded or contracted. You realize healing isn't just fixing the body, it's balancing the energy that creates the body. Energy exchange. Every interaction is an energetic transaction, not just words, energy moving between people. Some people charge you up. You leave conversations feeling inspired, lighter, more alive. That's energy resonance. Their frequency lifts yours. Others drain you. You feel heavy, anxious, or tired for no reason. Those are the unconscious energy takers. They're not evil. They're just empty, and they draw from anyone who will give. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. You start noticing exactly who nourishes your energy and who bleeds it dry. And then you learn to protect your field, to stop leaking energy into people, places, or memories that don't serve you. This is when you start cutting cords, pulling your power back, sealing your aura. Not out of fear, but out of awareness. You're no longer a sponge, you're a conductor. As your energy strengthens, natural human abilities begin to awaken. You feel empathy, not as sympathy, but as direct experience. You can literally feel what someone else feels. Crowds overwhelm you not because you're weak, but because you're tuning into hundreds of fields at once. Intuition sharpens. You know things before they happen without logic or proof. Your subconscious reads energy patterns faster than your mind can think. Influence grows. Your presence alone shifts outcomes. You can calm a room, uplift a friend, or subtly affect someone's mood just through your focus. Manifestation speeds up. You're no longer just thinking of what you want. You're embodying the frequency of it. Reality responds almost instantly because your energy field is aligned with what you're calling in. And for some, energy healing awakens. You can direct energy through your hands or your heart. You place your palm over pain, and it fades. You focus on someone's healing, and they feel it as warmth or tingling. It's not magic, it's physics on a higher octave. The stage 4 trap. So why isn't this God mode? Because you have power, but not yet sovereignty. You can feel and move energy, but it can also move you. Someone gets angry, and your field contracts before you even realize it. You enter a toxic space, and it's like your mood collapses. You want to help someone, and you absorb their pain instead. You heal others, but end up depleted. You pick up emotions, thoughts, even illnesses that aren't yours. Stage 4 is power without discipline. It's like being handed lightning before learning insulation. You can create miracles or chaos. And here's the part almost no one talks about. Once your field becomes strong, you become visible. Not just to people, but to the system itself, to the collective unconscious, to forces that prefer humans stay asleep and energetically dependent. At stage 4, you shine like a flare in a dark sky. The matrix notices. The world feels your presence. You're powerful enough to make ripples, but not yet stable enough to defend against pushback. That's why stage 5 exists. Stage 5 is where you learn energetic defense, spiritual protection, and how to navigate the shadow that rises when you carry real light. Stage 4 gives you power. Stage 5 teaches you how to keep it, and that's where we're heading next. Stage 5, the Battleground. Stage 5 is called the Battleground. If you've ever felt like reality itself was pushing back against you, like invisible forces were blocking your progress the moment you started to rise, you're here. And this is the most critical stage of them all. Almost everyone turns back here. 97% retreat into confusion, exhaustion, or quiet resignation. They tell themselves, maybe I'm not meant for this. But if you can understand what's happening now, you'll move through it, and you'll never be the same again. The moment you reach this stage, you'll notice strange patterns. The abilities you had in stage 4 suddenly fade or glitch out. People you love start criticizing, arguing, or pulling away. Life seems to collapse all at once. Random setbacks, health issues, money disappearing, relationships breaking down. You feel targeted, not by coincidence, but by design. Stage 5 is the point where your frequency rises high enough to threaten the collective field. What many call the system, the matrix, or the programmed reality. You're beginning to access consciousness the system cannot control. You're powerful, but not yet protected. And that's exactly when resistance strikes. The 3 attacks. First, the energy parasites. People around you start draining your energy without realizing it. They bring drama, guilt, criticism, endless emergencies. They're not evil. They're being used by the collective field to pull you back into the old frequency. Your rise threatens the balance they're used to, so they instinctively try to anchor you back down. That's why awakening often costs you friendships, relationships, even family ties. You're not abandoning them, they're resisting your evolution. Second, the system resistance. Suddenly, everything goes wrong at once. The car breaks down, the laptop dies, you get sick, your boss turns hostile, bills appear out of nowhere. This isn't random. It's the Matrix pulling you back into survival mode, because if you're busy worrying about money or comfort, you stop focusing on consciousness. The system's job is to keep you manageable, predictable, trapped in daily stress instead of awakening. Third, internal doubt. This is the most dangerous one because it sounds exactly like your own voice. Maybe this is all in my head. Maybe I'm not special. Maybe I should just be normal again. That voice is the program. It's not you. It's the collective conditioning of lower stages, whispering through your mind to lure you back to sleep. Why it happens now. At stages 1 through 3, you're no threat. You're just learning concepts. At stage 4, you have some power, but no control. At stage 5, you're connecting to something beyond the human field. The cosmic grid, the unified field of consciousness that every mystic in history tried to describe. Buddha called it Mara's temptation. Jesus called it the desert test. The mystics called it the dark night of the soul. Every one of them faced the same threshold, the moment light becomes strong enough that shadow must respond. Stage 5 is that threshold. The system can't truly destroy you, it can only make you forget who you are. The real mechanism. Reality is frequency. Every thought, person, and event vibrates at a specific tone. When your frequency climbs higher, the dense field around you destabilizes. It floods you with counter-frequencies: fear, chaos, illness, crisis. The goal is simple: to pull you back into fear, scarcity, and doubt. If you don't understand the game, you take it personally. You think you failed. But if you recognize it, the spell breaks. How to survive, stage 5. Step 1. Recognize. Awareness dissolves 80% of the attack's power. The instant you can say, "I see this for what it is," the illusion loses grip. If multiple things collapse at once, right after a breakthrough, name it. This is a stage 5 test. I know what's happening. That single act of recognition shifts you from victim to observer. Step 2. Don't fight. Fighting fuels it. Resistance feeds resistance. Let the chaos move through you like wind through an open window. Observe the fear. Breathe through the storm. You're practicing energetic Aikido, redirecting, not punching back. Step 3. Anchor beyond yourself. Your individual energy isn't enough now. You must connect to the larger field, to source, to the infinite intelligence you came from. Stop trying to protect your energy. Align with the energy that is everything. That's the first taste of stage 6 consciousness. And it's what carries you through when personal strength fails. The breakthrough. When you stop reacting and start anchoring, the attacks fade. Not slowly, instantly. The chaos ends. The doubt evaporates. The people who fought you either rise with you or fall away. And what's left feels like peace beyond description. That peace is stage 6. Unity, connection, the dissolving of separation. It feels like enlightenment. It feels like arriving home. But even that isn't the end. Because stage 6, as beautiful as it is still the final illusion before God mode. And only those who make it through the battleground ever find out what waits beyond. Stage 6, the final illusion. Stage 6 is called the final illusion. And this is where mystics get lost, where spiritual teachers stop teaching, where enlightened beings dissolve into bliss and never fully come back. This is the stage that most spiritual paths point to as the ultimate goal. The dissolution of ego, the recognition of unity, the experience of yourself as infinite consciousness. You're at stage 6 if you've experienced states where the boundaries of self completely dissolved, where you felt yourself as everything and nothing simultaneously, where subject and object merged, where you were the observer, the observed, and the observation all at once, where time stopped having meaning. where you knew with absolute certainty that you are not this body, not this mind, not this personality, but pure awareness itself, experiencing life through this temporary form. Stage 6 is profound. It's transformative. It's what mystics across all traditions have pointed toward. Samadhi, Satori, mystical union, cosmic consciousness, enlightenment. And when you experience it, even for a moment, it changes you permanently. You can never fully go back to believing you're just a separate individual struggling through life. But here's what most people don't understand. Stage 6 is not complete. It's not the end. It's a peak experience, not permanent integration. And if you mistake the peak for the summit, if you think you've arrived when you've actually just reached a plateau, you'll spend the rest of your life trying to get back to that experience instead of moving forward to what comes after. Let me show you the trap and why. Stage 7, God mode, is something entirely different. The transcendence trap. Stage 6 is transcendence, and transcendence feels like freedom, but it's not. Here's what happens at stage 6. You've survived the battlefield. The attacks stopped. You pushed through when everything was trying to pull you back. And as a reward, as a result of that breakthrough, you accessed a state of consciousness beyond anything you'd experienced before. You realized, I am not this body. This body is just a temporary vehicle, a pattern of molecules that will dissolve back into the universe when this life ends. I am not these thoughts. Thoughts arise and disappear like clouds in the sky, but I am the sky itself, unchanging, eternal. I am not this personality, this history, this identity. Those are just stories. Consciousness tells itself for a while before moving on to other stories. You experienced yourself as source, as the infinite awareness witnessing all experience, as the consciousness that animates all things. You felt one with everything because you realized there is no separation. It's all one field of awareness, one unified consciousness, experiencing itself through countless forms. This is stage 6, and it's true. Everything I just described is absolutely true. You are infinite consciousness temporarily expressing through human form. There is no real separation, it is all one. But here's the trap. Most people who reach stage 6 interpret this realization as, I need to leave behind the human, transcend the physical, dissolve the ego, escape the illusion. So they try to stay in that transcendent state permanently. They meditate for hours trying to maintain the experience of egolessness. They detach from worldly concerns. They withdraw from relationships, from responsibilities, from material engagement. They sit in bliss, feeling one with everything, while their physical life falls apart around them. This is why some enlightened masters live in poverty, why some awakened beings can't maintain relationships, why some teachers need others to take care of their basic needs. They've transcended the physical so completely that they've lost the ability to function in it. That's not God mode. That's spiritual bypass. That's incomplete integration. Historical examples. Let me show you this pattern throughout history, so you can see how common it is to get stuck at stage 6. Ramana Maharshi, one of the most revered enlightened masters of the 20th century, spent years absorbed in pure awareness, barely speaking, barely eating, needing others to care for his physical body. He was in constant samadhi, pure, undifferentiated consciousness, beautiful, profound. But functional in the physical world? No. Many Buddhist monks achieve stage 6. They sit in meditation for decades, experiencing the dissolution of self, feeling infinite peace. But they need the monastery to support them. They can't re-enter society. The moment they try to operate in the normal world, they lose the state. So they stay in retreat permanently, maintaining the experience, but unable to embody it in daily life. Modern spiritual teachers often reach stage 6 during extended retreats, plant medicine ceremonies, near-death experiences, or deep meditation. They experience ego death, cosmic consciousness, unity with all things. And when they come back, they can describe it beautifully. They can write books about it, give talks about it, inspire others toward it. But they can't consistently embody it in their actual lives. Why? Because stage 6 is disembodied consciousness. You're experiencing your true nature as infinite awareness, but you've lost the bridge to physical reality. You're transcendent, but not integrated. You're enlightened, but not empowered. You're one with everything, but incapable of focused action. Stage 7 is about building the bridge back, maintaining the awareness of stage 6 while fully operating in stages 1 through 5. Being infinite and finite, divine and human, transcendent and embodied. All of it. Simultaneously. That's integration. That's what the ancient mystery schools actually taught. That's what as above, so below really means. Not one or the other, but both. The peak versus permanent state. Here's how you know if you're stuck at stage 6 versus actually mastering it. You've had experiences of cosmic consciousness, moments in meditation, ceremony or nature where you felt yourself as infinite, where ego completely dissolved, where you knew yourself as the source of all things. But you can't maintain it in daily life. You touch stage 6 during spiritual practice. But when you open your eyes, you're back to stage 3 or 4, consciousness. The moment you have to deal with money, people, work, or conflict, the awareness fades. Or you can maintain stage 6 awareness, but only by withdrawing from the world. You need to be alone, in silence, without responsibilities or demands. The moment someone needs something from you. The moment you must navigate normal human challenges. You lose the state. So you protect it by avoiding engagement, by staying in retreat mode permanently. Neither of these is God mode. The first is a peak experience you're chasing but can't stabilize. The second is a permanent state you've achieved but can't integrate with normal functioning. Stage 7 is permanent and integrated. You maintain the awareness of stage 6, knowing yourself as infinite consciousness, while fully engaged in stage 1 reality. You're enlightened and functional. Divine and human. Transcendent and practical. You can operate in the physical world with complete mastery while never losing awareness that it's all consciousness playing with itself. You can engage in relationships, work, creation, challenge, all of it, without identifying as a separate self that could be threatened or diminished. You can use personality as a tool without believing you are the personality. You can play the game of life with full investment while knowing it's a game. That's the difference. That's what makes stage 7 God mode, instead of just enlightenment. The teaching trap. There's another way people get stuck at stage 6. They become teachers before they reach stage 7. They have a profound stage 6 experience. Ego death, unity consciousness, mystical revelation. It changes their life. They feel compelled to share it, so they start teaching others how to reach that same state. They write books, give talks, create courses, build followings around helping people dissolve ego and experience oneness. And in doing so, they trap themselves at stage 6. Because now their identity, livelihood, and purpose are tied to being the enlightened teacher who helps others transcend. They can't move to stage 7 without admitting that stage 6 wasn't the end, that there's more beyond what they're teaching, that they themselves haven't completed the journey. So they stay at stage 6. They keep teaching it as the ultimate goal. They keep reinforcing the transcendence paradigm, that the point is to rise above the physical, dissolve the ego, escape the illusion. And their students reach stage 6, experience it as profound, and also get stuck there, thinking they've arrived. This is why so many spiritual communities plateau. The teacher reached stage 6 and stopped. The students reach stage 6 and stop. Everyone agrees they've found enlightenment. And no one moves forward to actual integration, actual embodiment, actual God mode. The warning: Stage 6 will feel like the answer to everything. It will feel like what you've been searching for: the peace, the unity, the dissolution of the separate self that's been causing all your suffering. It's all there at Stage 6. But if you stop there, you become ineffective in physical reality. You might be at peace, but you can't create. You might feel one with everything, but you can't focus your energy to manifest specific outcomes. You might have dissolved ego, but you've also dissolved your capacity for decisive action. You'll be spiritually advanced, but practically powerless. You'll understand ultimate reality, but be unable to shape it consciously. You'll be enlightened, but not in God mode. And God mode requires something that sounds impossible, something that contradicts everything spiritual traditions have taught about transcendence, something that requires you to do the exact opposite of what you've been told is the path to liberation. Are you ready for it? Because this is the secret that mystery schools encoded, that enlightened masters knew but rarely spoke directly, that changes everything you think you understand about awakening. Stage 7. God mode. This is the only stage that gives you real, consistent, embodied mastery. Not temporary abilities, not peak experiences, not intellectual understanding, not even transcendent awareness. Actual power to shape reality at all levels while remaining completely free. You're at Stage 7 when you maintain cosmic consciousness while fully engaged in physical reality. When you operate at all stages simultaneously without conflict. When you have abilities and complete control over them. When you're free internally, regardless of external circumstances. Stage 7 is not transcendence. It's integration. It's not leaving the body, it's fully inhabiting it. It's not dissolving ego, it's mastering it. It's not escaping the illusion, it's becoming the conscious creator of it. This is what the ancient masters actually achieved. What Jesus, Buddha in his teaching years, the Hermetic adepts, the true alchemists embodied. They weren't just enlightened, they were powerful. They could perform what others called miracles, but they were simply operating from a level where physical laws are flexible, where energy responds to intention, where reality is recognized as consciousness, creating experience. The sacred paradox. Here's the secret every mystery school encoded. You don't become divine by leaving humanity behind. You become divine by fully embodying it. Think about the masters who actually changed reality. Not the ones who withdrew into caves, but the ones who engaged powerfully, created transformation, demonstrated abilities, taught actively, and lived fully while remaining free. They were fully enlightened and fully engaged. They had cosmic consciousness and practical mastery. They could perform miracles and maintain relationships and navigate society and create lasting change. They weren't trying to escape the physical plane. They were learning to master it from divine awareness. They weren't dissolving ego and detaching. They were using ego as a tool while knowing they weren't limited to it. That's the paradox. You integrate all 6 previous stages. You don't transcend them. You master them and operate through them consciously, simultaneously. Stage 1. Physical mastery. Your body is healthy, functional, a finely tuned instrument. Stage 2. You work with opposites consciously, using polarity creatively. Stage 3. Your thoughts are precisely directed when needed. Stage 4. You feel, direct, and shield energy at will. Stage 5. You're connected to the cosmic grid, accessing universal intelligence. Stage 6. You know yourself as source, experiencing itself through form. All of it, at once, without contradiction. That's integration, that's wholeness, that's God mode. The 3 shifts. How do you actually reach Stage 7? Shift number 1. Stop escaping the physical. Most spiritual paths teach transcendence, rise above the body, leave the material world. Stage 7 requires the opposite, full embodiment. Your body isn't a prison, it's a vehicle to master. The physical plane isn't an illusion to transcend, it's a creation game to master consciously. Here's the shift. Instead of trying to leave your body through meditation, become more present in it. Feel your breath as direct experience of life force. Feel your heartbeat. Feel energy flowing through your nervous system. Inhabit every cell consciously. The more present you are in the physical, the more power you have to shape it. The masters who could heal by touch, who could affect matter, they weren't transcending the physical. They were so fully embodied they could work with its energetic foundation directly. This is real alchemy. Transmutation of matter through consciousness. And it requires complete physical presence, not detachment. Stop trying to escape. Learn to dance with matter. Shift number 2, integrate shadow with light. Stage 6 tries to be pure light. It wants to transcend shadow, dissolve ego, eliminate darkness. Stage 7 integrates everything, light and shadow, ego and essence, divine and human, spiritual and primal. Your ego isn't your enemy. It's a focusing mechanism. It allows consciousness to have a specific perspective, to act decisively, to create particular outcomes. Your personality isn't an illusion. It's an interface, how you interact with physical reality, how you relate to humans, how you express your unique frequency. Your shadow, anger, fear, desire, darkness, isn't something to eliminate. It's energy, and energy is neutral. It becomes destructive when suppressed. When integrated and wielded consciously, it becomes fuel for creation. Here's what that looks like. You stop suppressing anger and transmute it into creative fire, righteous action, energy that breaks through obstacles. You stop denying fear and recognize it as the edge of growth. You stop rejecting desire and use it as a compass. You don't transcend these energies, you master them. You channel them toward creation. This is why stage 7 beings are often more powerful than stage 6 beings who are merely peaceful and detached. They have access to the full spectrum, not just half, and they wield it all consciously. Shift number 3. Become source, expressing as form. This is the deepest shift. At stage 6, you realize, I am source. I am a consciousness witnessing this human experience, true but incomplete. At stage 7, you realize, I am source itself, choosing to express as this specific human form, in this time and place, for a specific creative purpose. You're not a human trying to connect to source. You're not a separate being merging with the divine. You are source, deliberately choosing this particular expression, this specific life, this exact experience. Think about the ocean and the wave. The ocean is infinite. The wave is temporary, specific. But the wave isn't separate. It's the ocean expressing itself in that form. The wave doesn't need to return to the ocean. It already is the ocean, just in wave form. You are the ocean and the wave, simultaneously, always. When you fully embody this, not understand it intellectually, but live it as actual reality, everything changes. You stop trying to manifest things because you realize you are the source of manifestation. You don't attract abundance. You express as abundance. You don't try to heal yourself. You recognize you are the healing intelligence. You're not a person with spiritual powers. You're source expressing as a person, with all powers inherently available, because you are the power. Nothing is outside you. Nothing needs to be attained. You already are everything you're seeking to become. That's God mode, the integration practice. Here's how you begin developing stage 7 consciousness. Sit comfortably. Take 3 deep breaths. Then move through each stage consciously. Stage 1. Feel your body, its weight, temperature, sensations. Fully inhabit physical form. Stage 2. Recognize the opposites within you, light and shadow, active and receptive. They're both you. Stage 3. Become aware of your thoughts. Watch them form. You're directing this consciously. Stage 4. Feel energy moving through your body, your aura extending beyond skin, your field interacting with space. Stage 5. Sense the grid, the web connecting all things. You're a node in infinite intelligence. Stage 6. Expand awareness. I am not this body. I am consciousness experiencing this moment. Feel the infinite. Stage 7. Bring it all together. I am infinite consciousness, deliberately embodied in this form, with complete creative power, choosing this experience right now. Feel yourself as source, an expression, divine and human, all of it, integrated. Hold this awareness as long as you can, at first seconds, then minutes. Eventually, it becomes your natural state. This is the practice, not to escape anything, but to integrate everything. Not to transcend stages, but to master them all simultaneously. Do this daily. You're training consciousness to hold multiple perspectives, operate at multiple levels, and be everything you actually are. That's how you build stage 7 capacity, until it's not something you do, it's what you are. Conclusion. You've just been shown the complete map, 7 stages from unconscious physical existence to fully integrated divine embodiment. Stage 1. The physical prison, where most live and die, believing matter is all there is. Stage 2. The Duality awakening, where you see patterns, sacred geometry, hidden design. Stage 3. Mental sovereignty, where you understand thoughts create reality but can't consistently apply it. Stage 4. Energy mastery, where you develop abilities but remain reactive and vulnerable. Stage 5. The Battleground, where you're tested by attacks designed to stop your rise. Stage 6. The Final Illusion, where you experience enlightenment but mistake it for completion. Stage 7. God Mode, where you integrate all stages, embody full power and become source expressing consciously. Only Stage 7 gives you real power. Everything else is necessary, but not sufficient. You're not who you were when you started reading this. You've seen the map. You understand the traps. You recognize which stage you're at. Most people will read this and change nothing. They'll stay comfortable at Stage 3, or remain at Stage 4, enjoying abilities without mastery, or retreat from Stage 5. Some will reach Stage 6 and stop, convinced they've found enlightenment, becoming increasingly ineffective, while believing they've transcended. But you? If you've made it to this point, if something inside you recognized truth here, you're going to keep going. Not because you're special, because you're awake. And once awakened, you can only move forward. Here's what you do next. First, identify your current stage. Be honest. Most people are between Stage 3 and 5. Second, accept it. There's no shame in any stage. The only difference between Stage 1 and Stage 7 is the willingness to keep moving when it gets difficult. Third, do the practices, the presence practice from Stage 1, the thought control from Stage 3, the integration meditation from Stage 7. Don't just listen, act. Fourth, commit to the journey. Stage 7 isn't a weekend workshop, it's a path. Sometimes years, sometimes moments. The timeline doesn't matter, the commitment does. Remember this. You are not human trying to become divine. You never were. That was always the illusion. You are divinity itself, temporarily expressing as human, gradually remembering what you've always been. Every stage of this journey is Source experiencing itself, learning itself, creating through itself. There's nowhere to get to, only consciousness, choosing to express more fully, more freely, more powerfully. The 7 stages aren't about reaching somewhere you're not. They're about removing the veils hiding what you've always been. Peeling away forgetting until only truth remains. You are Source. You've always been Source. You're simply waking up to it, stage by stage, until the recognition is complete. That's the journey. That's the path. And you're on it, right now. The only question is, how long will you take to remember what you've always been? Welcome to Stage 7. Welcome to GODMODE. Welcome home. You are consciousness itself, expressing as human, waking up to its infinite nature, claiming its creative power, becoming fully what it's always been. Everything you've been searching for, you already are. Now go be it, fully, consciously, powerfully. This is not the end. This is the beginning. If this message woke something up inside you, don't just scroll to the next video. Go to our website and join the free newsletter. That's where I share private lessons, advanced breakdowns, and practices I can't post publicly. And right now, I'm opening limited seats inside the Philosophical Essence community on Facebook. It's a private circle for those who are done consuming information and ready to live it. If that's you, the link's below. Claim your seat before they're gone. Before you leave, drop a comment and tell me, what stage are you in right now? What's the one insight that hit you hardest in this video? Scroll down and share it. I actually read them all. Then, don't stop here. Go watch the next video in the How to Protect Your Energy playlist. It's waiting for you right now. Subscribe, join the newsletter, and I'll meet you inside the community. Welcome to the journey, and welcome home.